Death Note is a thriller anime that was based on a manga that aired from 2006 to 2007 on TV and was directed by Tetsuro Araki with a total of 37 episodes from start to finish. Now, this series stars the character of Light Yagami, a Japanese honors student who is ahead of his class, number one in his class, and while walking outside one day, he notices a Death Note drop on the ground in front of him, which causes him to pick it up, read through it, and see the instructions that are enlisted on the inside of it, which let him know that any name written inside this Death Note will die. Now, at first, like anyone, Light Yagami does not believe in the Death Note, in the rules that are inside the Death Note, until he tries it out and notices that it is very real, especially once a Shinigami, a god of death, appears before him now that he's touched the Shinigami's notebook and begins speaking with him, whereas only Light Yagami can see this character. Now, soon into this series, Light Yagami runs into a problem where he is now being tracked by law enforcement for his use of the Death Note, being that he used the Death Note to take out any criminals that he sees in the news, on his television, etc. Now, this is where the main plot of Death Note comes in, where we're introduced to the character of L. Now, L is a special agent, one of the best in finding criminals, and you end up getting this chess match between Light Yagami and the character of L, where they're constantly trying to one-up each other, constantly trying to outsmart each other, expose the other, and while Light Yagami is trying to kill L, L is trying to expose Light Yagami and get him locked up. And that's essentially the premise for the entire show right there, and you just watch this unfold and play out for 37 episodes, and I gotta say, this is one of my favorite shows of all time. This is one of my favorite animes of all time. This is in my top 5. It's up there with Attack on Titan for me and other classics. This is a series I've watched through multiple times. I love it every single time, the way every episode slowly builds from start to finish. Now, of course, this show's not exactly perfect. It does have its problems towards the end of the series, but for the most part, this show has a crazy run for over 20 episodes. Now, with that being said, Light Yagami is one of my favorite anime protagonists of all time, which I know is a little controversial. I know a lot of people love L. They love L's character. A majority of the viewers of this show obsess over L and side with L and almost see him as the protagonist, which makes sense considering Light Yagami is sort of the villain in his own story. But me personally, while watching this, I was never rooting for L. I was always rooting for Light Yagami. I love Light Yagami as a character. I love how intelligent and conniving and brilliant he is. And I love seeing him outsmart the people that he comes up against inside of this show. Now, with that being said, if you have not checked this series out already, make sure you go watch it. I can't stress this enough. It's one of the best anime experiences I've ever had. It's a fantastic entry anime if you're just getting into it. And before we jump into spoilers, let's go ahead and drop the official rating, the official score for Death Note. I give Death Note a 9 out of 10. It gets the 9 out of 10, damn near perfect. And the reason I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 like I would like to is because it does have some issues towards the end of the show, which we're going to talk about right now. So spoiler alert, but I hope you enjoyed the video for those who haven't seen the show already. And for those who have seen the show already, let's talk spoilers now. Another character that I love inside this show is Misa Amane. I wasn't sure if I should mention her in the main portion of the video, but for her character, I love what she represents. I love how she is this direct, almost equal to Light Yagami, but still beneath him, still kind of worshiping him and following his orders as Kira. And I love that with Misa, we get to see things that can happen with the Death Note that Light Yagami wouldn't be willing to do. For instance, giving up some of her life for more powers from the Shinigami, for the Shinigami eyes, right? And I love that they managed to implement that into the show without, Light being dumb and cutting out part of his lifespan just to complete his goal. Now, moving on from that, I wanted to touch on more specific spoilers, such as, the very end of the series. Let's talk about L versus Light, which is kind of, in my opinion, the perfect ending for the series. I kind of wish it just stopped right there, because after L dies inside of this show, the show kind of goes downhill a bit. I love the build up, the tension between Light and L that makes the entire series, and then he finally gets that one up on L. I was so happy once that happened. I know a lot of y'all out there weren't though, but of course Light Yagami does come out on top over the L situation, which causes a new unit to be brought in to deal with Kira. Now, when this new unit comes in, when this basically fake L comes in trying to replicate him, take his place, and Light Yagami now has to deal with this new team while working real close quarters with them. The show gets a little convoluted, it gets a little goofy, a little off track in my opinion, and it loses its steam. It's not as exciting to see. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on as you watch these final couple stretch of episodes. Luckily, it's not too long. This show's only 37 episodes. It's not a long watch, 20 minutes an episode, right? And these episodes lead us to the final episode, the final finale, where of course Light Yagami is exposed. He gets caught. He gets in slightly over his head. He couldn't have kept it going forever. He is a human being at the end of the day, which human beings are not perfect. So as close to perfect as Light Yagami tried to get, he never is able to actually achieve that realistically, which we see play out inside the show. Now, from what I've heard, it's pretty similar to the manga's ending, which Light Yagami gets caught. They end up shooting him. He ends up dying out, which I thought was an okay ending. I thought it was a fine ending, honestly, considering the last couple episodes, they're not that great. I thought that they managed to somehow land a decent ending anyway, though of course I was quite depressed seeing the end of Light Yagami. But all in all, I wish we got more of this series. The only problem is they keep having to one up themselves. It's just a part of the show because they're always going higher stakes and higher stakes. They have to get so big to the point where it's ridiculous. So I understand why it's cut and dry, a simple 37 episodes. But overall, like I said, one of my favorite animes of all time, one of my favorite series, one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite protagonists of all time. And let me know your thoughts about Death Note down in the comment section down below. Do you love this series as much as I do? Do you think it's a bit overrated? And let me know which side you're on. Are you on side L, or are you more like me and on side Light Yagami, on team Death Note? Because me personally, I'm on team Death Note, as you know. And yeah, they actually sell these. This is a really great version of this book. It's extremely accurate. It's a nice like leather cover. It has all the instructions inside of it, and then it has, you know, even the writings left behind from Light Yagami, which you can see right there. And yeah, it's a pretty cool replica. I really enjoy owning this and having this. Everyone should own their own Death Note, in my opinion, and I've owned that for a few years now, so I'm glad that I can finally bring it out for a video reason now. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, let me know your thoughts down below on the series Death Note. If you don't know what we do here on Demigod ENT, we do movie and TV reactions and reviews with some anime spliced in there. So if you're interested in any of that movie-based or anime-based content, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.